Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Hey, welcome into another edition of the Gen Existentialists. My name is Scott.
I'm Bunny.
And we're here with you for about 20 minutes or so talking about all kinds of different stuff from a Gen X perspective. Basically, we've got over 500 topics we came up with, and we are constantly adding to it based on emails and comments and things from you, our listeners. And we put them all on Mega Wheel the Magnificent, and we give it a spin as we are doing right now. Whatever topic pops, that's what we're going to chat about. Sometimes they take the entire time. Sometimes if the topics are kind of crappy, we end up doing 2 or 3 in the course of a show. So this one is wonderful because, especially from a Gen X perspective, from a potentially existentialist perspective, are you ready for this?
Sure.
What is the purpose, Bunny, of your life, in your opinion?
The purpose of my life, in my opinion,
yes,
is to bring love to those who need it. The purpose of my life is to bring entertainment to those who need it, and is to gift the ability to laugh to those who need it. That's what I believe my purpose is. That's as much as I know what my purpose is.
A perfect and succinct answer.
Thank you.
And see, when I look at this question, what is the purpose of life, in your opinion? I really don't know. Because, and the get out of jail free card on this is, of course, in your opinion. Because it's not asking for just purpose of your life in general, just what do you think? And I honestly don't know. Your answer was great.
It's off the top of my head.
Yeah, when I look at things from a strictly scientific perspective, I'm well beyond and have not accomplished anything purposeful. You know, I write, I play music, I work in safety. Was my purpose to keep people safe, prevent people from getting hurt at work? That's conjecture. You can't prove anything by that. You know, in my opinion, is that something I do now? Yeah. But this is really a very existential question.
Mm-hmm. I can take things in an existential direction for you.
Well, we're kind of getting into determinism. Is everything cause and effect? Is there free will? Because those are kind of diametrically opposed. I'm not a determinist. I don't believe in that.
Are you a Calvinist or a Hobbesist?
Definitely Hobbes.
Okay.
Definitely Hobbes. Because he's multi-generational.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it kind of goes in some weird philosophical directions when you talk about overall purpose.
Well, here's a little known fact about me that's completely unrelated to the question, really. It's that I had a brother before I was born,
mm-hmm.
and he died upon childbirth due to some hospital negligence. My parents were sensible people who realized that my father, being a railroad worker, my mother, being a stay-at-home mom, realized they couldn't afford more than one child.
Mm.
So they were heartbroken when John passed away. That was my brother's name. And they weren't planning on having any more children. And then, boom, here I am. So they tried one more time, and here I am. So technically speaking, from a scientific point of view, I shouldn't even exist. I shouldn't exist here right now because I was never planned. You know, I wasn't part of I didn't win that. I won the cosmic lottery. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
because I ended up with parents who were fantastic. I ended up in a neighborhood that was great. I went to great schools. I have great friends. I have a great wife. But the whole idea of determinism and all that stuff, was that meant to be? Was it not? I don't know. I mean, so why am I here? Why are you here? Isn't that the question? I mean, so what is my purpose in life? It's to give back what I was given as a child.
Okay.
Because that was a gift, and by all means, I shouldn't even be here. But I am. So through gratitude, I think having gratitude it will help you find a purpose in life. If you're listening out there and you feel like you don't have a purpose, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know why I'm here. I should just be dead, blah, 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 all the trappings that you hear online a lot. And I know it sounds really cliched and shitty to say, like, oh, practice gratitude, write a gratitude journal, stuff like that, like a Muppet or something. That's a thing. I mean, it sounds goofy, but if you try it for a week. Take a week and sit down at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, whichever you function better in, and take out a notebook and just write down all the things that happened that day that you're grateful for, or things that you saw that you appreciated, or things that made you feel good, or that made other people feel good that you did. And then just close the book, put it away, don't look at it, and then go back a couple of weeks later and read it. And I think it will make you realize how much purpose you have in life, because you see how many lives you touch on a daily basis. I mean, if you weren't here, none of your ideas, none of your good works would be appreciated or shared, and everybody has something to share.
I think a key there, looking at that, is I think we have a tendency, especially people our age, actually anybody who is alive right now, whether you're elderly or down to high school age kids, I think there is a tendency at this time to think that things only matter if you affect a huge group of people. Like being a songwriter and putting out a CD or something, feeling like you failed if you don't sell thousands of copies, and that's incredibly wrong.
Yeah, I mean, in today it's, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a TikToker, I want to, that's today's version of, I want to be a famous artist, I want to be a big political activist, I want to change people's minds.
Sometimes it's the simpler things, like I haven't done a poetry reading in years and years, but there were a couple times where after a reading, people came up to me and commented on one or two poems that I had read and told me how much they meant to them. And that is something that you can't explain how it makes you feel as an artist, having that honest human interaction with someone and having touched them.
And I think that goes for even people who aren't into the arts, people that may not have that talent at their disposal, just people that do everyday things. I mean, everything you do is something that, if I call an electrician, it's because I don't know how to do electric without blowing my arms off. So you're offering something to me that is huge. And of course I'm paying you for that, but sometimes people will come to you and say, hey, you really saved my bacon. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to hear how they've affected others' lives. And I think that's something, it makes people really uncomfortable. I'm an oversharer. I think it's pretty safe to say, my friends would say, I overshare a lot. I'm not scared to say I love you. I'm not scared to say, I really appreciate you, or compliment you on anything else going on, because I realize that sometimes that's what people need to hear. Yeah. And people don't hear it enough. So I'm not saying I go around showering people with praise and you know, turning them into narcissists. But it's definitely one of those things that I think when someone does something that matters in your world, you should find a way to let them know that you appreciate it.
Yeah. And sometimes it can
realize their purpose.
It can be as simple as thank you. That meant a lot.
Yeah.
Just telling somebody you appreciate what they did. Yeah, absolutely. So purpose, I guess for me, it all comes down to what you mean by purpose. And mine is just a little bit murkier.
Well,
because you mentioned, like, you know, if you know, you feel like you don't have a purpose, and there have been definite periods in my life where
we all feel that way.
You know, I
not to diminish that feeling, but
contemplating things that were difficult.
Sure. I mean, I think everybody has contemplated suicide. I think everybody has contemplated, you know, just walking away, a la Bill Bixby and the Hulk. You know, I think everybody's thought about stuff like that. But I mean, look at this from a perspective of where would your wife be right now if you didn't exist? If you never came into her life, where would I be in this world if you never came into my life? And now Scott and I have known each other since fifth grade.
Do we want to go there?
No.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we'll wait for the wheel to bring that one up. A little tasty tidbit to dangle over the audience. But, you know, I mean, where would your parents be if you weren't their child?
Yeah. And see,
you know, what did you bring into people's lives that you might not even realize you brought into people's lives?
Well, and see, I get it. And without any coaxing, and I know it's the wrong way to look at it, when you say those things, the immediate reaction that pops into my head is, well, they'd be better off.
Really?
That's just the way my head works, and I fight that every single day.
Okay.
Through logic, through rational thinking, through internal question and answer in my head. So that's when I say, you know, what's my purpose? It's an ever-evolving kind of swampish soup of trying to pull the diamonds out of the murky water.
I think a purpose that I can put on everybody listening out there is your purpose is to leave this planet a little better than it was when you came into it.
Yeah.
And if that means changing the world and being the greatest orator on the planet, if that means going to Mars and mining for fucking diamonds, I don't know. I mean, it can mean anything, but it can also mean, hey, were you there? Did you help that puppy that you found on the side of the road that was starving to death? Hey, did you meet somebody and make their life a little better? Hey, did you make your parents proud? Did you make your grandparents smile? Did you do something like that? That's huge.
And you can always get better, because if your answer to any of those questions was, no, I didn't, why didn't I do that? And you start going down that road, you can always get better. One of my favorite things, and I use this in a couple classes I teach, is just this phrase, don't get bitter, get better.
Sure.
You know, because you can wallow in that kind of thinking, like, no, I didn't help where I could have. No, I didn't do what I should have done. Okay, learn from that, get better.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep referring to today's society as clown world. It's just the way I am.
Clown world?
Clown world, because it is. It's designed to make you crazy. Nothing makes sense. People have all sorts of inversions going on, and it's all done to screw with your brain. So here's the thing. Everybody thinks that they have to be the next Obama or the next Gandhi or the next whoever to change the world. I have to be the next PewDiePie, TikTok streamer, blah, blah, blah.
I have to be the next Steve Harris.
Yeah, you know.
Ain't going to happen.
Well, you know, there are people like that, and that's a wonderful thing, but I don't think without any sort of real soul celebrated in this world anymore, you don't realize that everybody has a purpose, no matter how large or no matter how small. If somebody could make you laugh or smile, you know how huge that is? I mean, how many things can you look around your room right now and tell me how many things in your room make you laugh? Probably not much. I mean,
I'm not sure anything in the studio here makes me laugh per se.
So having someone in your life that can make you laugh, that's huge.
Absolutely.
That's just an example.
Yeah. Should we spin the wheel one more time?
Let's
do
go
another
ahead
quick
and,
topic to
Yeah.
That, by the way, is the actual sound of Mega Wheel the Magnificent. We're rolling it right now, and we're down, and we've got a topic.
Listen to that. Cheesy.
This is kind of playing off the first part, and where our discussion
episode.
went. Yeah, this is weighty things. What are the most important values that you have always stood by? And see, that's getting into
values.
Values, a little bit of a different topic.
Values, for me, I always go back. I never knew the word for it when I was young, but I learned along the way at it. It's gratitude. I hate to keep going back to that as the value
but it makes
of
sense.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
I think it's finding ways to be grateful for the little awesome things that happen in your life. Planned, unplanned, things that people went out of their way to do for you, things that just happened by sheer chaos of this world. I think that's where that's where I find that's a value that I hold.
Yeah.
And have stood by.
For me, I'm going to go with open-mindedness. And by that, I mean not immediately judging things, which I'm sure you're looking at me right now going, Scott, you're one of the most opinionated people that I have ever met in my life. And I am. But the opinions I've got are all well considered, and I'm always willing to hear other sides because I know I don't know everything. It's like going back to a previous topic, what I do for a living. If I go in and I see what I think is a guarding problem on a machine, that's coming from my point of view, my expertise. But I know I'm going to have to talk to the people that run the machine. I'm going to have to talk to the managers. I'm going to have to do research with the equipment manufacturer to find out. I may immediately look at a machine and be of the opinion, yeah, that needs this. But until I research, until I figure it out for sure, I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with open-mindedness as that value.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have an opinion on things. I think everybody has an opinion on anything that they first meet. A flash opinion. But I think does that opinion stop you from interacting with it? From
seeing the rest of the view. Because we can't help it. It's part of our lizard brain. It's part of our immediate reaction because we do still have that fight or flight in us. Oh. If we walk up to someone or we see someone or we see something and it seems potentially hazardous, even though you may not think in that terminology, you may bristle, you may have a certain reaction, but we are rational creatures too. You have to be able to understand that. And in a lot of cases, I think especially in today's society, assess. Don't just go with that immediate reaction, but assess that reaction.
Yeah, no matter what the news media, no matter what the internet, no matter what your friends and your priests and your family and everyone else forces on you.
Yeah.
Things right now are very, very divisive. And it's much easier to find someone that you don't agree with and just say, I'm not going to waste my time with that. Yeah. I'm not even going to get involved in this. Or worse, you could be the kind of person that goes in and just wants to stir the shit, as they say. You want to cause trouble. You want to get people angry and argumentative and fighting. You know, maybe take a step back and reevaluate your purpose in life. If that's your purpose in life, I pity you.
Purpose and values. And I won't back down from it. Have I gotten into some debates, shall we say, online? Yeah, absolutely. If I see someone, whether it be one of my friends or somebody else that has a particular take on something that I think is missing a wider point of view, yeah, I'll engage. Well, at least I used to. I don't really do it anymore because the thing about doing it online is nobody's really got a horse in the race. It's just a lot of typing and not a whole lot of consideration and not a whole lot of open-mindedness. You know, I've never changed anybody's opinion online. And I never will. So what's the point?
Yeah. Gen X says, screw it. Go to bed.
Gen X says, give them a good eye roll, say whatever, walk away. Because it's not worth your time. Or mine, for that matter. So that'll about do it for this time. We appreciate you listening to the Gen Existentialists. My name is Scott.
Bunny.
And we'll catch you next time. Have a good one.